Hello. Some of you were lucky enough to see my exercises earlier on. Some of you might have missed it. I had music running in the background for a bit of motivation, and Facebook and Warner Brothers decided they didn't actually like it, and they claimed ownership of the video, and I had the chance to let them do that, delete it, or silence it. Well, I deleted it because silencing it would have been rubbish, because you'd have seen this, which might have been good. You might want to turn me down. But, I thought that would be the easiest way. And then I'm going to do another one at another time without the music. Oh, you could hardly hear it. I wasn't saying it was my music. I was just using it. But any case, the reason I'm here is you voted to hear me talking about effective goal setting and stuff like that. So I'm doing this live for that. I know it's probably a bad time, but it's the only time I've got today, and I wanted to get it done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the live. I know people aren't going to be able to ask any questions and for me to be able to answer them live. But if you do have any questions, pop them in the comments and I'll do my best to get back to you. I'll either personal message you, I'll do another video, or I'll just message you under the comment, okay? So hopefully that will help. So things to think about when setting goals. So we all want to set goals. We have loads of goals, but we just don't know where to start. So first of all, what you've got to do is set a goal that motivates you. Not like a goal of, I don't know, cleaning the toilet every day or something like that. You want to set a goal that you really, really want to do. So like for me, a lot of you will know that I do running, so I would set a goal to get a personal best on my running. So that wouldn't be too great, just setting a goal to do my best. It would have to be a little bit different to that. I'd have to make it a little bit easier than that on myself, because if I was just randomly saying that, it wouldn't be very good. I'd need to expand on it, make it a little bit more specific. Because if it's not specific, I'm not going to be able to achieve it, am I? So, sorry, my computer's just gone off, which isn't very helpful because I've got lots of stuff on the screen. So, while I'm just trying to get that back up, I'll carry on talking. So, yeah, you want something that's going to motivate you and you're going to be able to achieve because you're motivated by it. If you're not motivated by it, you're not going to want to continue it. I could say, I'm going to do 400 burpees a day. Well, that's aligned with my that's aligned with me trying to get fit, but actually I'm not really motivated to do that. So you need to set your priorities and get something that motivates you. So once you've done that, you want to get more specific. Like I say, you want to make it really specific, break it down into what you want to do. You want to make it specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. Your SMART goals. You probably deal with these at work. I like them quite a lot. So I might say, thinking about my running, I want to get a PB of 5 hours 30 at Manchester Marathon. And yeah, it is attainable. Yes, it is relevant. And I've got myself a date of the 5th of April. It's quite specific because it's the marathon, and it's measurable because I've got a previous time that I can compare it with. You might think to yourself, I want to earn, you might be running a business, you might think to yourself, I want to earn £10,000 more than I did last month by going out and creating new networks with people and selling more of my product. You know, so you need to be specific, it needs to be attainable. If you have only sold £2,000 this month, it might not be realistic. Might be. Who knows? So get them measurable, get them specific, okay, and attainable and stuff. So then what you need to do is write those goals down. Get them down to the finest detail, down to the finest step, and work out what it is that you've got to do. Give yourself a time frame, and don't say, I would like to do. Say, I will do. I will run a marathon in such and such a time. I will earn so much money, or I will cut the grass on Wednesday at 2:00, whatever it might be. Not I hope to, because if you do a hope, you're not going to do it, are you? That gives you a way to back out. So I will is going to be a way of making sure that you do it. Also, thinking about that, a good tip is always to make it public. Stick it on Facebook, stick it on Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is that you go on, or tell all your friends. Because that way it makes it much harder to back out. It makes it harder for you to be able to say, oh, nobody knows, it doesn't matter, okay? So make sure people know, make sure you write it on Facebook and say, hey, look, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get myself a PB. Make yourself accountable, because that's what it's all about. Fantastic. So by doing that, you've given yourself an action plan. So give yourself some deadlines, give yourself some achievable deadlines. So with me, I'm doing different kinds of running. So I'll make sure that I'm running a certain speed by a certain day, and I'll be covering different distances and stuff like that. I've got all my action plans set out in my training plan that I'm doing with my trainer, which is fantastic. And the most important thing with goal setting, the most important thing, I think, is stick with it. It might get hard, and it is going to get hard. Anything that you set out to do, any goal that you set out to do is going to be hard. And the reason it's hard is because if it was easy, you'd have done it already and it wouldn't be a goal, would it? So you need to make sure you stick with it. Keep going, even if you're doing a tiny little bit of it every day, just do that little bit of it. You might get up, you might have no motivation to do it, and you might think, I really just don't want to do it. Try and pick something from your list, from your action plan, and sit down and just do 2 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, whatever is manageable, whatever is a manageable chunk for you. I remember when I was doing my dissertation, when I was at uni a couple of years ago, I used to sit down and think, well, I'm going to do half an hour of writing or half an hour of reading. And quite often, once I'd started, I could see the benefit of what I was doing, and I actually didn't want to stop. So it worked out quite well. So sometimes you find that you start and you just don't want to stop, because you can see the progress you're making, and it's great. So stick with it. And every time you stick with it, every time you do it, you're that much closer to your goal, because if you don't do it, you're not going to get any closer to your goal, are you? Let's face it. So stick with it and make sure everything that you're doing is relevant to what you're doing. And if you're supposed to be researching something, a product or something, or you might be trying to find out the best way to increase your speed on your running, anything like that, once you start researching, once you start reading, don't end up looking at cat videos. Give yourself a good chance to research, write down what you're thinking about and stuff, and just stick with it. Don't get distracted. Once you get distracted, just stop what you're doing and walk away and go and do something else, and go back to it a little bit later. But keep with it. So those top tips, running through them again right from the beginning. Make sure you have goals that motivate you. Make them smart. So we want specific, measurable, attainable, relevant and time-bound. So that way you know exactly what you're aiming for. You need to set your goals in writing. You can stick them on Facebook. Do whatever you like with them. Tell a friend. Make yourself accountable. Then making yourself an action plan. Break it all down into small little chunks so you know you can get there. And something I didn't mention earlier on, you can tick them off. You can say, yeah, I've done that, look at that. So when you look back, you can see how far you've come, so it encourages you to keep moving forward. Okay, yeah, sounds good. And last of all, stick with it. You will manage it. You will do it in the end. It's going to take time. It might take longer than you hoped it would, but you're going to get there in the end. So if you've got any questions, give me a shout in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. If you liked what I've said, write that in the comments too. I'd love to hear it. If you didn't like it, write that in the comments. Anything. Just give me some feedback. Let me know what you think. And then I'll sort out that 10 minutes, 2 cans in 10 minutes. When I get a few more minutes time, I'll probably do maybe Sunday, tomorrow morning, something like that. Anyway, I shall catch you all later. Thank you and goodbye.